What is good, everyone? It's your boy Ferris Muthana. And before we get right into the show, I got something to tell y'all. I got a big announcement. We got a merch store. We I talk about the merch store a lot, but we got a bunch of stuff. We got jackets, we got hoodies, zip, non-zip. We got long sleeve shirts, we got crew necks, we got short sleeve shirts, we got hats. Yes, guys, we got hats. And more specifically, we got a good friends, better rivals hat. Look at this beauty. Look at this magnificent creation of Adelia's. We got a good hat. So make sure everyone go to that merch store at store.letsgetreadynetwork.com and get your hat, get your hoodie, get your crew neck, get your long sleeve, get your short sleeve. Buy for your grandma, your grandpa, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your lover. You buy it, it'll be a great gift for them. So make sure to go in there and you rep that merch and you rep it proud. And you know what? Tag us on Twitter when you get it because we will retweet it and we will shout you out. So shout out to you. You go buy that stuff. But on that note, everyone, let's get right into the show. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Oh, what is good, everyone? It's your boy Ferris Blunt, and welcome to another edition of Good Friends, Better Rivals. But before we get into the show, I just want to remind everybody to like and subscribe on the channel. We're at 90 subscribers. We're 10 away from 100. So like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell to get it every time we go live or we drop a video pre-recorded Monday, 3 o'clock. Good Friends, Better Rivals. That's all I got to say. Before that, let me shout out and let me introduce my main man, Caleb. Caleb, how are you, man?
Good, man. Obviously, I'm in a different location right now just to get uh this recording going, but I'm doing pretty good though.
All right, that's good, man. Let's get right into it. Right into it. The NFL season's over. We're in the off season. We just had our great Super Bowl Sunday stream with Lunch Break Hot Take and Ravens Online and Gatekeepers. Great guys. So go make sure to go subscribe to them.
It was a good time.
Jose Brodney, Hendo, as well as shout out to Derek. Derek showing up and showing us about the betting and the winning and the losing, the props and the Jimmys and the Joes and the moolah. You and him broke it down for us. But football, the NFL's over, Caleb. But football isn't over.
No.
Football is not over because this last weekend we had the first week of the new iteration of the XFL led by The Rock himself and his ex-wife, business manager Danny Garcia. They now run the XFL. We got four great games. Well, not great's relative. It was football. I love football.
I would
But
say three. I thought there was three very entertaining games.
very entertaining games. And then there's the blowout between Houston and Orlando.
Yeah.
But let's break it down. I watched bits and pieces of it, Caleb, but you watch a little bit more than me. Before we get into the Giants and the Cowboys news of the offseason, let's do a little XFL report. We're going to have a little XFL report during
Okay.
these offseason shows. So, Caleb, what impressed you most about this new iteration of the XFL?
No, I mean, really like the new rules, especially the we saw multiple times this new onside kick rule where you go for 4th and 15 instead of kicking an onside kick. And we saw one unsuccessful one in the Vipers game, and then another one that was successful and got them the win because they converted that 4th and 15.
The St. Louis
That
Battlehawks,
was in
right?
the yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was the
AJ
last.
McCarron.
That was this. No, it was the Sea Dragons and Defenders. Oh no, it was the Battlehawks. It was the Battlehawks.
Yeah.
You're right.
AJ
The
McCarron,
Battlehawks
yes.
came back. Yeah, they came back, converted the 4th and 15, and then led them to the winning touchdown. And yeah, that was really awesome to see. I thought that I really like that cool rule. I like the rule that you can challenge whenever you want on anything, and that the you can see the Dean Blandino on every single game talking over every call. So there's not any, why'd you miss this call? What the referees are thinking or what they're being told what the right call is. All that was great. I really like the whole way they went about doing these games. So I was like I said, I was very entertained by it.
Also, too, like during I was looking at it through a broadcasting perspective. It was a running clock. Clock kept running. It kept
Yeah,
running. It never stopped. Right. So there's no moment to catch your breath when you're a fan, as well as very limited TV timeouts. Kind of, which was really nice to see. Which I was kind of happy about. As well as access. We heard everything.
yeah.
Everything. We
Maybe a
heard
little too much
everything.
because they had to bleep out some stuff.
Yes, they did. They did. They did have the, and it was you know what? Good, good content. Give me a you heard the offensive coordinator tell the quarterback and the quarterback tell the group. You heard everything. I do like some of the rule changes. I also want to point out to Caleb, the first iteration of the XFL, the first iteration. People don't know. People, I think people forget this, but I think people in the industry know about this. But people, I think regular people forget this. The NFL stole a lot of the XFL's ideas from the first iteration of the XFL. They stole a lot, like the sky cam, that sky cam that everyone loves. XFL. Cameramen on the field getting all up in that action. XFL. That was all XFL. The access, that was all XFL, man. The way the NFL games are shot, they stole it from the camera work. XFL. They stole it all. And in some, I quite enjoyed the kickoff rule a little. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
because there was a kickoff almost every single time you saw a return. Unlike the
Mhm.
NFL, where it's just an automatic kneel down, there's no return. Basically, take it
Uh,
out of the game. But they made it so it looks like every time. Honestly, it looks like they're going to take off, but they get tackled. But yeah, the kickoff rule in the XFL. So I think they done it right.
I think they figured it out. I think they figured it out because here's the thing. So it's the kicking team and the receiving team. They both line up at the 5 yards apart. I think one's at the 10, one's at the 15-yard line on down the field, and they cannot move until the returner catches the ball. They cannot move. It reduces collisions. It reduces high velocity injuries. You know what I mean? But it also keeps the kickoff alive. You know what I mean? But here's the thing too about people be like, oh, these are tricks, these are novelties, like this is stupid. But guess what? Everything was a novelty first until it became the norm, Caleb. Everything was a
Yeah,
novelty until people accepted it.
the
You
forward
know?
pass was a novelty.
Yeah, the forward pass was a no one threw the ball. The forward pass was a novelty. You only threw it on like third and long or fourth and long. That's it. It's the NFL was 3 yards in a cloud of dust. That's what it was. 3 yards in a cloud of dust. You know what I mean? So that's what it was. And then the forward pass became Sid I think it was Sid Luckman. Was it Sid Luckman or Sid Gluckman? He was
I
like,
don't
why don't we
know.
pass the
That was too
ball?
long ago.
Yeah, it was too long ago. He said, let's pass the ball forward. You get more yards that way. And then the receivers became receivers. So this may be a good compromise of like people want to see returns. That's exciting. I remember, dude, my earliest memory of a Super Bowl was Devin Hester taking that baby back in Miami, and me thinking, oh my god, I think the Bears are gonna win this. They didn't, but I was thinking it. And then Prince came out and just shredded it. No, 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 Purple Rain, Purple Rain. Prince being Prince. It was a great Super Bowl. So it doesn't like man. I want to see some kickoff returns, man. They're exciting. Could this be a normal thing in the NFL?
Mm.
Why not try it? That 4th and 15 though. I think the NFL may steal that. I think the NFL may steal
They
that.
should,
I think the NFL may steal that.
because I
I'm not gonna
mean,
lie to you.
you never get an onside kick,
Not anymore.
but this is possible. This gives
Not
you a
anymore.
chance.
They got rid of the onside kick where it's like you can only like move or like you can't something. The onside kick used to be exciting back in the day, and then now it's like it's nothing. Like the kickoffs are like they're not a play. They're not a play
Yeah.
in my personal opinion. So yeah, I do love the Dean Blandine. Like let's just say, if the refs still blow a call, you get to hear them blow the call. Like you get to hear them blow it, and it's insane. Like I'm waiting for like Dean Blandino to screw up, and people are like, "We got you. We got evidence you being an idiot." Like it's insane. It's pretty insane. Um, they're integrating the betting. It's fully integrated. You
Oh,
see the
that's
over.
what I loved about
You
it. That
see
was my
you
favorite
see
part
the over
about it.
under. I think the over
and
under
the and
in
the
the
point spread, the
Vipers,
points at all
the
times.
point spread, yes. I think the over under in the Vipers game was 34 and a half, and Arlington was favored by -3. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And I think you should have, and I think y'all should have, the unders should have been taken, except in the Houston game because Houston blew out Orlando. But I think
No, I mean,
the
on all the three overs hit.
three
There was only
overs
one
hit.
under.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because they set it so
Okay.
low that just a 2020 game was going to hit the over. So yeah, most of the overs hit. Only one. There was only one under, and it was barely an under too. It was really close.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah,
I,
I loved it. I loved seeing that being on the screen at all times, and the fact that they talk about it, unlike NFL broadcasts where they mention it just a little at the end of the game.
Al
Oh,
Michaels.
betters are not
Al
going to like
Michaels.
that.
I love back in the day when Al Michaels would reference it and people were like, "What?" And he's like, I think remember once somebody I think like a point spread hit or an under hit, and then it was shattered by like a punt, like it went like over the punter's head and it went like out of bounds, and then they got the 2 points, you know what I mean, because of safety. And all you hear is Al Michael say,
Yeah,
"I know a group of Americans who are not very happy with that. We're not very happy with that play." And he's talking about the betters who are
yeah.
like, "I bet the under. I bet the under." And it's like,
It's
it's like crazy.
No,
It's,
in this they actually talk about. They actively talk about it throughout the game
mm,
of what if the over under is going to hit the point spread, and I love that the commentators actually you know consistently talk about because that's what's gonna make this XFL work is betting. Betting makes the NFL work. It's gonna make the XFL work. That's why it's going to
and
be a
fantasy
huge part.
football. And fantasy football.
Yeah.
People forget about the NFL. People be like, because fantasy football has made you, like back in the day, before fantasy football, you would watch your team. That's it. You would just watch your team. You would just, me, I would just watch the Giants. Caleb would just watch the Cowboys. But now Cowboys fans and Giants fans have to watch Cincinnati versus Cleveland because somebody has Jamar Chase, somebody has T. Higgins, somebody has Joe Mixon or Joe Burrow, somebody has Nick Chubb, someone has Deshaun Watson, someone has the defense of Cleveland. You have to like I had to watch Jacksonville Jaguars games this year, not because I liked it, because I was watching Trevor Lawrence. Like, what was he doing? Like, let me see the box score. What did he do? What did he do? Like, fantasy football has made other fans care about other games. Because if you like back in the day, if your team played in the 10 o'clock window, 10 o'clock Pacific window, like 10 a.m., your game's over by 1, and you're done with football. Like you're done. You may watch Sunday night. You may watch a couple of 1 o'clock games. You may. But some people back in the day were like, "All right, I'm done. Football's done. Let me go do something else." But now, due to the fantasy football, your day isn't over on Sunday. Now you're like, okay, who's playing in the 1 o'clock window? Okay, Arizona's playing. I have DeAndre Hopkins. Minnesota's also playing. I have Justin Jefferson. Now I have to watch those 2 games. Back in the day, you didn't watch those 2 games because you didn't care about
Mhm.
DeAndre Hopkins or Justin Jefferson. You cared about your receivers, your team. That's it. But fantasy football has made us care about everybody. Has made us watch every game, and we're watching the box score. We're watching how many carries, how many yards, how many touchdowns. Is this PPR? How many receptions? It's made me care about other players that I normally wouldn't care about. I shouldn't care about people on the Jacksonville Jaguars. I shouldn't care about people on the New Orleans Saints, but I had to. I had to. You know what I mean? So, if the XFL chugs out fantasy, oh God,
Yeah.
oh shit. It's over. It's over. But I do have one gripe with the XFL though, Caleb. One gripe. I have one gripe.
Oh wow.
Just one gripe. Man, the jerseys, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Which jersey did you not like?
All of them, man. They're very like they're
All of them?
basic,
Damn.
man. Nah, they're like basic, man. They all look the same. They're just different colors. Now the XFL ones that Vince McMahon came for the second time around, they were pretty nice. They were pretty nice. I tried to get me one of them. Then they went bankrupt, so I couldn't get one. But yeah, man, now the Under Armour kind of went basic with them. I'm kind of,
Yeah. What
kind
was
of a
the
little
team?
mad.
One of the teams had like a weird helmet. They were like three different colors. It was
Houston.
like black.
It was Houston.
Yeah,
It was Houston. It
it
was like
was
blue and
Houston.
white. It was blue and white.
It
It was
was
like blue and
blue,
white.
white, and then red. It has like a red
Exactly. No,
strap on the
yeah. You know what's
bottom.
funny too, Caleb? You know what's funny? Like, if you know Under Armour, that's like a tradition, dude. They make crazy ass shit. You ever seen the Maryland jerseys, the college Maryland college University of Maryland
Yeah,
jerseys? That weird little thingy they like.
yeah. That it
That
reminded me of that.
yeah. It's what they do, man. Like I remember Adidas. They outfitted their entire basketball programs. Like they sponsored some basketball programs where they were wearing like camouflage pants and sleeve basketball jerseys. It was crazy. I wanted one because I'm a jersey guy. I'm like, ooh, jersey, different, different jersey. I want it. But man, these jerseys, man, like The Rock. The Rock's creative, man. Under Armour's creative. Man, give me some juice. Give me something cool. Like come on, man. I'm
Yeah.
kind of disappointed. I'm kind of disappointed. Who do you think is going to be the who do you think is the favorite, Caleb? Who do you think?
Yeah, man. I think the Houston Gamblers look like the best team right now.
Roughnecks.
They have Wade
Roughnecks.
Phillips, great defensive coordinator. That defense looked really good throughout their game. So much. I think the opposing team only scored 12 points on them. I think it should be even less because I don't think the first touchdown should have counted because they had it was like they had gotten an interception, but somehow they called it for the receiver. I thought it was an interception. So I thought they probably should have even scored even less points than they did. And then, yeah, they just put it on them 33-12. So Houston Roughnecks look really, really good and like the best team right now in the league.
I also want to point out, shout out to Ben DiNucci. The Nooch. Shout out to the
Yeah.
Nooch. The
Ben
Nooch on.
DiNucci, former Dallas Cowboy, one-time starter for us. His in that game, he looked really good in the first half, and then he completely just fell off in the second half. He was horrible in the second half. Threw two picks, and just, threw a pick six, and then led for the defenders to come all the way back because they were leading. Had a big lead. Defenders come back. They play defense. They get the turnovers, and they win that game because of Nucci just kind of sucked in the second half. But yeah,
I'm still looking for a
that
team,
was
Caleb.
similar. But it was similar to what happened in the Vipers game because the same exact thing. The Vipers Renegades was the exact same game as Sea Dragons Defenders. The same games. Vipers come out hot with Luis Perez. He's playing great. He looks like the best quarterback in the league. Completely craps the bed in the second half. Throws two picks. Those are freaking pick six to a defensive lineman. He just goes right into the touchdown. He just played awful in the second half. They start to come back. They try to get like I mentioned before, they try to get the 4th and 15. They didn't get it, and then they lose by 2. So that was it was a really entertaining game though. Vipers Renegades was very good at the end. It was back and forth throughout, but yeah, basically those two games were pretty much the same. Big lead fell off in the second half, and then the 2 comebacks.
I'm still looking for a team, Caleb. I think I'm going to stick with my original team from the second iteration. I was a big Houston Roughnecks fan. Shout out to PJ Walker. Shout out to you, PJ. He. So I may just stick with them. I know you're going to stick with Vegas. So is that the teams we're sticking with?
Yeah,
Vegas.
I'm always going to represent Vegas.
I'm just asking.
My home.
I'm just asking, man. Just asking.
They
All right,
they got to get the freaking penalties fixed because they had so many penalties in that game. It was ridiculous. I mean, they basically lost the game because of all the mistakes they did. Otherwise, I think they're a really good team. Talented team. They have a lot of name guys on this team that were in the NFL once, and now they're in the XFL. So I mean, I think they're a talented team. They just have way too many mistakes. I put that a lot on the coaching and Rod Woodson.
Head coach Rod Woodson, Steelers legend, Baltimore Ravens legend. Really weird that he's a legend of both of those teams. Personally, man, I'm gonna be real with you. I think he's the greatest defensive back of all time. Yeah.
How?
Hell, let me tell you how. Very great at corner. Early on in his career, great corner. At the second half of his career, great safety. Can play both positions with ease. Oh snap! Charles Woodson exists.
I mean, Deion Sanders exists.
But Deion Sanders didn't play safety at a great level. He didn't play safety at all. He
Yeah,
was a great
he's still
cornerback. He's a great cornerback. I didn't say
the best
cornerback,
cornerback.
Caleb. I
He's
didn't
the
say
best
corner. I didn't
cornerback.
see his thing. I didn't say the greatest cornerback. I didn't say that. I said the greatest defensive back. There's a difference. Defensive back
I
also
think he
includes
was so
safeties.
great at cornerback, it trumps everything else.
Okay, I'm not saying Deion is not great. He's great. He's the greatest corner of all time, bar none. But I said defensive back. And being great at both defensive back positions, in my eyes, I love me some versatility. You know me, man. So Rod Woodson and Charles Woodson, probably neck and neck on who the great. Those are the two ones I really love. Because not every corner transitions to being a great safety. People think that, like, oh, when a corner gets old and loses his speed, just make him play safety. Not that easy. You can't just transition like that. But those two transitioned and still were great at a high level, Hall of Famers at both positions. Deion's great. He's the greatest corner of all time. That is not a debate. But I'm not talking corner. So all I gotta say is I'm not talking corner. If we're talking just corners, Caleb, you're correct, 100%. But I ain't talking corner. I'm talking defensive back. That's the thing. But all the way, my Houston Roughnecks are being led by the son of bum, Wade Phillips. Shout out to Wade Phillips, great defensive coordinator in the NFL. I always said about Wade Phillips about this. Average head coach. It was kind of average to good, never great. Great defensive coordinator.
Yeah, it shows. The Roughnecks played great defense.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is prevalent throughout this first week. A lot of good defenses, or maybe just bad offensive play. Whatever you want to go with, however you want to look at it. But I thought, there was a lot of good because there was a lot of turnovers, a lot of big defensive plays happening. Defensive scores, defensive touchdowns, multiple defensive touchdowns in these games. So yeah,
because I think teams are still figuring themselves out. So
yeah, but it's weird that it didn't happen right away because, like I said, two of these games, like the quarterbacks came out looking hot. The defense didn't look good. Like the quarterbacks were on it, and then in the second half, that's where it all fell apart.
Punched in them. They got fall apart. But guys, that is enough about the XFL. Every episode during the offseason, we'll have our XFL, like XFL corner or XFL wrap up, as well as in April, a second league is coming around. It is the USFL. So we're gonna have USFL versus XFL going head to head.
Well, they're not going head to head because they're different times. But
what do you mean? Isn't the XFL going into April?
No, I think it ends before then.
Oh, really?
Pretty sure it does.
Okay.
Is it like it might go into April, but so they might go ahead. But okay, for the most of the schedule, it won't be.
Okay, interesting. But unfortunately, on that one, we do share the same team. Unfortunately, we're both Houston Gamblers fans.
Yeah.
And
they weren't good last year.
Yeah, they weren't good. We got a new head coach too.
They were good, but they never won.
Yeah, I think they were always close. They're always close, man. I did buy a jersey. I just want to point out as well, we got a new head coach in Curtis Johnson. Kevin Sumlin is not coming back. Curtis Johnson is in multiple time champion. I think he won a Super Bowl and a national title. So shout out to Curtis Johnson.
What's fun? I don't know if you notice this. I don't know if you pick out the ex-Giants like I do, because I can name all the ex-Cowboys I see on the different teams.
I can same. Cody Latimer was on the Orlando Guardians. He was an ex-Giant. I think that's the only one that I saw.
I saw a bunch. I saw T.J. Vasher, Rod Smith, Karan Reed, Reagan, Benvenucci. There was
Benooch.
what's his name? Brendan Knox, a bunch of guys that the Cowboys had in their practice squads that I remember. And yeah, I mean, we saw Josh Gordon out there, not a nice Cowboy, but just a big name in the league.
Mm-hmm.
He had a big role in the game.
Oh wait, I'm so stupid. There was more than Cody Latimer. There was also Nico Latos, the practice squad superhero, as well as Will Hill. Um, there is a yeah, we have a couple New York Giants on the Renegades. We have a couple of coaches on the Renegades, and then we have I looked it up. I actually looked it up. We have Garrett, Deron Evans, Will Hill, Joe Powell. Yeah, I only recognize Will Hill. Eric Dungy, that's the guy. Eric Dungy, he was the quarterback of Syracuse that we drafted. Him and Ryan Nassib, those are the two guys that I remember. But yeah, and Raquel Armstead, he was there. Then Trent Harris, I remember Trent Harris, and Charles Wiley, I remember them. Then on the Guardians, Cody Latimer, and then on the Brahmas, Jim, apparently, Damian Mama, Damian Mama was on there, as well as Brad Wing and John Hillman. And the Dragons, Nico Latos, uh, and Austin Prohl, I remember him as well. And then
Yeah, that's Ricky Prohl's son. He
Yeah,
had a
Rod
big.
Smith actually played for both of us too, both the way. He played for both of us.
Oh yeah, he did. He
Yeah,
did.
yeah, he did. So there's that. But
Jalen Smith
yeah,
brother. Hey, Jalen Smith and Rod Smith both played. That's crazy.
yeah. So
They're
they
brothers.
both played for us. But on the Houston Roughnecks, it's just Charles Wiley and Trent Harris is the ones that I know. But that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. All right, but now we're also gonna have some USFL talk as well until the NFL comes around. But we do have some news about both of our teams.
Yep.
Let's go with the Cowboys first, Caleb. Kellen Moore was not retained like we talked about, and they did hire his
Mm-hmm.
replacement. It is none other than the man who keeps getting hired for some odd apparent reason.
Yeah.
Don't know why this.
Brian
Don't know why
Schottenheimer.
this. Brian Schottenheimer. This
Yeah.
I don't understand why the NFL still tries to shove him down our throats. But Brian Schottenheimer is now the offensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. Caleb, your initial thoughts and reactions to signing Brian Schottenheimer?
Well, like I said before, when we were talking about who I thought we should bring in, I just wanted a guy with experience, unlike Kellen Moore, who had no experience and somehow got the offensive coordinator job after 1 year of being a quarterbacks coach. Um, that was a mystery to me. But at least this guy, I mean, like you said, he's been around the league for a long time. Obviously, his father very famous, really good head coach, Brian Schottenheimer.
Get the gleam,
And now he's
man.
with the Cowboys.
Get the gleam. Always get the
But
gleam. Marty Schottenheimer, by the way, extremely underrated coach. All I'll say is this: he's Marty Schottenheimer. I love Marty Schottenheimer. Love that guy. Continue. Sorry.
yeah, but at least he has experience. That's all I wanted. At least a guy with some that's been around the league for a little bit. Maybe can try to help fix problems that Dak was having. Um, Obviously, I'd still the play calling will duties are going to Mike McCarthy. So I
Yep.
don't
Yep.
think you be calling plays, and just it'll just be happening with the system, implementing the system week to week, obviously. But he hasn't really been, like you said. You wonder why he's been hired so much, because he really hasn't really had that much success in the league.
Nope.
Um,
The most
I
successful
think
I've
his
ever
most
seen him
successful,
is
I guess, with the Seahawks with Russell Wilson.
no Seahawks. No, yeah, just the Seahawks. Oh, my bad. I misinterpreted his
Yeah, I
Jets
think that's what
tenure.
his most success he's had.
Yeah.
At
He doesn't have a Super Bowl, does he?
no,
Okay, that was after
he
the Super
does.
Bowl. Okay.
Yeah, it was after the Super Bowl.
Okay, yeah, good.
But the Seahawks were still really good. I mean, Russ Wilson did have some really good years under Schottenheimer. But that's where it ends. I mean, you saw the disaster that was the Jets offense when he was there. Other places he just wasn't that successful at. But like I said, he's not going to be calling the plays. He'll just be trying. implementing systems, and hopefully he can change up some. That's what we need. We need a change up in our offense because it just hasn't been working, and it's caused Dak to get into this interception problem that he's been having. Hopefully, he can change something up where that's not the case going forward. So as far, I mean, it's not the best hire, obviously, but at least it's a guy with experience, and I think if he can change some things, and I think it'd be a positive for us.
Yep. It's just kind of like, he's been there, done that. He's been there. So there's that benefit. But honestly, man, you know, his no his so he was with the Jets. He was with the Jets in
Yeah,
that
then the
tenure.
Sanchez here.
Yeah, he was the Sanchez's offensive coordinator because Rex Ryan kept him on there. So he's a coordinator with, he was a part of the back-to-back AFC Championship
Well, I
appearances.
mean, at least he can put a good run game together. That
Phenomenal
that's
run,
why I like.
phenomenal run game. The run game in Seattle was amazing. He's a great run game. He's phenomenal
Yeah,
in the run game. LT, they had LaDainian Thompson, not Lawrence Taylor. LaDainian Tomlinson. And they had someone else with LaDainian. It was like him and another running back. They were like, it was like a 1-2 punch. I don't remember
Thomas
who it was.
Jones.
Was it not? Was it?
I'm
Was it
pretty sure
Thomas?
it's Thomas Jones. Yeah.
Probably, you're probably right, man. You're talking to a man who didn't know who the hell Thomas Jones was. Um, until like a couple weeks ago. I know Felix Jones. I don't know Thomas Jones. I apologize. Actor now Thomas Jones actually acts very well. I've seen him in a couple movies and TV shows. But yeah,
So
that's
I
pretty much
mean,
it.
and that's it's an area where Kellen Moore lagged because I've always
He was
wanted to
pass
run the ball
happy.
better.
He was pass happy.
Yeah, he was extremely pass happy. He even admits it. He literally admits it. Like running the ball was just like a thing he had to do. It's not something he wanted to do. It's just something like he was
See,
filling the quota of running plays.
what's crazy about that, man? A lot of these people act like they think they're Mike Leach. They think they're Mike Leach. Mike Leach never ran the ball. Everyone knew what Mike Leach was going to do. He was going to throw the ball everywhere, all the time, without a doubt. Y'all ain't Mike Leach, okay? You're not creative. You're not the pirate. So stop trying to be the pirate. God rest the pirate, by the way. God rest your soul, Mike Leach. You're not Mike Leach. Zip, nada. So stop thinking you're some whiz in the passing game. You need to mix it up in the running game. Basic coordinator stuff. Stop trying to be Mike Leach because you know why, Caleb? There's only one Mike Leach. So stop it. You can't. I'm just like every great offense in the NFL is based off of the running game. All of them. Kyle Shanahan's system. What's it based off of? The running game. Sean McVay, the running game. Philadelphia, the running game. Kansas City had a running game. That's why Andy Reid always lost in Philadelphia for years. People were like, why does Andy Reid keep losing in Philadelphia? Because he never ran the ball. Ever. Literally ever. And you know what's funny too, Caleb? When did the Chiefs start winning Super Bowls? When did they start winning
I
Super
mean,
Bowls?
they won this last one because they ran the ball actually.
But when did they start being like a true powerhouse? When they got Eric Bieniemy, a running back coach and former running back who valued the running game. And he said, we have to run the ball. Two-time Super Bowl coordinator Eric Bieniemy. Doug Peterson never won a Super Bowl. Matt Nagy never won a Super Bowl because they were basically Andy Reid light. They didn't run the ball like that. But Eric Bieniemy made Kansas City run the ball. And Kansas City got 2 Super Bowls. You had a running game with the best quarterback in the league. Dangerous. 2 Super Bowls. The only reason they lost to Tampa Bay is literally they had no offensive line. And guess what they did the following year?
Yeah.
They drafted two offensive linemen that are very well, and they traded for Orlando Brown. Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith, tremendous picks by Brett Veach. Then they traded for Zeus Jr. They solidified the left side of the offensive line. That left side is dangerous. It's dangerous. Like I said in the Super Bowl, if they could handle the wave of Eagles, They win the game, but I thought they couldn't handle it. But I was wrong. They could handle it, and they stopped them. 0 sacks. 0 sacks. So it is what it is. So you ran the ball. You have to run the ball in the NFL. You have to run the ball. You can't be one dimensional in the NFL because these are the fastest players, the smartest players, the biggest players in the world. And if you're giving them something they don't have to worry about in a game, they play with instinct and speed, and they just hunt you down like heat-seeking missiles, and it's over. You got to make them think. You got to make the great player think like, oh, should I go left and stop the run? Oh, it's a pass. Oh, no. You got to make them think. You got to make them overthink. Great players don't think. They are instinct-based, and they just hunt you down, and they know what you want. That's why Luke Kuechly was special, because when you tried to make him think, he did think, and he outthunk you. And you're like, what the hell is going on? And then guess what? When he outthunk you, he then ran you down like a running mule and beat you over the head with his steel spoon. Shout out to Luke Kuechly, by the way. I love Luke Kuechly, man. Oh man, he was so good. He was so good. He was so good, man. I'm sorry, man. Sorry, I'm sorry. My favorite non-New York Giant. I loved watching Luke Kuechly play football. I was like, yo, Carolina's on? Are they on right now? Let me put that on. All right, but Caleb, any other news on the Cowboy front?
Yeah, I just want to go over the free agent list real quick. And my thoughts on each player, what we should do with them. The unrestricted free agents, Tony Pollard, big one. Like I've said before, I don't think we should sign him. I think we should get rid of him. Don't think you should sign a running back. I want to draft Bijan Robinson.
Of course you do.
Dalton
Every
Schultz.
Cowboy fan does.
Yeah.
Every Cowboy fan.
Dalton Schultz, the next one. I would sign him. I like what he's done. He's been very productive for us. But I would be okay if we didn't, because I like what Hendershot and Jake Ferguson looked in the rookie season. That they can develop into really good tight ends as well. So I would sign him, but it depends on the money. And if we had to let him go, I wouldn't be sad about it. Cooper Rush, I want to sign him. He's a good backup. He obviously won 4 games for us when Dak went down. So I think having a reliable backup like that knows the system very well, I want to keep him. Connor McGovern, that's a tough one. That one's really tough, because I don't know where Tyron Smith is at on left tackle, where Tyler Smith is at. I don't know where they're playing. So that's hard to say on that one. If I'm just looking at it right now, I'd let him go. T.Y. Hilton, obviously, that was just a Band-Aid, so we're not signing him back. Is he really old? Noah Brown, no, he wasn't very good. He started very good with Cooper Rush. Once that got back in there, it was pretty bad, so would not sign him. Donovan Wilson, definitely sign him. He was awesome all year. Signed Donovan Wilson. Lane Bandrich, again, he played. I think he earned his contract, a long-term contract, because he played great. He had one of his best seasons since his rookie year. I think we should sign him. Anthony Brown, I said them go. Dante Fowler, Anthony Barr, they were just guys who we signed. Jonathan Hankins, not really guys we're going to re-sign again. Carlos Watkins, I mean, for depth reasons, maybe. But it depends what we're going to do in the draft. If we think we can draft a defensive tackle there, then we can let him go. CJ Goodwin, yeah, he's great special teams ace. He's the best special teams player we got, besides Devontae Turpin returning. But as far as defense, special teams, then he's really good at that. So it depends what they want to do there. Brett Maher, hell no, get rid of that guy. I mean, come on. I mean, he was awful. He was awful in those 2 games. And then our restricted free agents is Terrence Steele. Absolutely sign him. We definitely need him at right tackle. He was great all season long. Sign Terrence Steele back. And then Rico Dowdle. Depends what we're doing on running back. But we probably just draft someone that can replace him. So just let him go. But that's our free agent list. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right. All right. So let's move on to the other team, dressed in blue. It is Big Blue. The biggest story out of free agency is money, money, money. Who's getting that money? And the main people getting that money is Saquon Barkley, Daniel Jones. It's the backfield. That's the main key. There's also a secondary part of, is Leonard Williams going to restructure his contract or not? That's another key. Breaking news, by the way, we're not franchise tagging Julian Love. We were never going to franchise Julian Love. No offense to Julian Love. I'm a big fan of Julian Love, but he didn't play this year to make it seem like he's like untouchable. Like he didn't. I'm sorry. There were moments where he played where he didn't look untouchable. I'm sorry. And you know what, Don Martindale, the biggest key as well is both coordinators, Mike Kafka and Wink Martindale, are coming back year 2 in this system. So we have more continuity with the scheme. They just need the dudes. They just need the players. That's it. Mike Kafka was basically running a scheme with 3 tight ends at any given moment. There was one moment where it was Chris Myrick, Tanner Hudson, and Daniel Bellinger on the field with like one or two wide receivers. And then they kind of evolved more as the season long. So now more evolution year 2 in the coordinators thing, as well as Wink Martindale. Wink Martindale was given toothpaste and some toilet paper. It was like, make a defense, bro. Make a defense. His second best rusher was never healthy, and was first or second. It depends on Kayvon and in disease. He was never healthy. He never played. He never played consecutive. Like, he was always hurt. He was always hurt. I think he was also playing hurt. So like, he was never healthy. Kayvon Thibodeau missed 3 games. The entire defensive backfield was completely different. Adoree Jackson got hurt. Xavier McKinney got hurt. We were playing with Nick McLeod, Fabian Monroe. Dane Belton got hurt. It's it was just our linebackers. We had Jalen Smith playing linebacker. We had Gerard Davis playing linebacker. We had no linebackers.
Awful.
It was awful.
So awful.
In this coming up draft, I want them to draft 2 linebackers. I know 2 linebackers or 3. There's 3 linebackers I'm eyeing. Trent Simpson, Drew Sanders out of Arkansas. Trent Simpson is out of Clemson. Drew Sanders out of Arkansas. And Ivan Pace Jr. out of Cincinnati. Those 3. Draft Noah Sewell. Those 4. Give me 2 of those. Or shit, give me all 4. I don't care. Get me new linebackers. As well as give me interior defensive linemen and interior offensive linemen. But I digress. The biggest story is Daniel Jones getting that money? One of the reports on Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones. One of the reports on Saquon is it's looking like they're going to agree on probably 13 or 14 million a year, 2 million or 3 million less than the highest paid running back in the league, which is Christian McCaffrey, by the way, at 16 mil. So Saquon Barkley isn't resetting the running back market. He's actually taking less than the highest paid player running back. He's being paid less than Christian McCaffrey. So he's kind of taking like a $2 million discount, possibly. So there's that. Some fans don't want to pay a running back 14 million, period, but there's running backs who are being paid 15 and 16 million. Christian McCaffrey literally is being paid 16 million. So it's a matter of how much do you value the running back position. I think 14 for Saquon isn't outrageous. Do I want to get him on the cheap? Yeah, you always want to get players on the cheap. But 14,
I don't know, man. I mean, after the Zeke deal, I don't trust signing running backs for second contract.
Well, I blame Kellen Moore. That's his fault for making it look bad. But the biggest key
but
is
even with you're not worried about Barkley's injury history at all.
He's not a human being. He's not a human. He's legitimately not a human. I can't. There's nothing I tried to describe Saquon Barkley to people. He's not a human being. Period. Like, zero. Like, he completely ripped his knee apart in Chicago. And then in you know, or you know what? We could
And you
draft
don't think
Bijan.
that could happen again?
No, you're right. You know what? Because you could. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. If they don't resign him, we're drafting a running back in the draft. If they don't resign him, we're drafting a running back. And guess what? We
Yeah.
picked before you. So, yeah. So,
But I'm just well, besides that fact, but I'm just saying. I mean, we've seen these rookie running backs come into the league, and
exactly.
we just saw Brees Hall and Kenneth Walker come in and rookie year and take off and be
All I'll
great.
say
So
is
I mean,
this: if
what's
we
the
move
point of
on,
even signing that?
Caleb, I agree with you. If we move on, we're drafting a running back in the draft, and that's fine. That's fine because this running back draft is pretty deep. Pretty deep. They have the kid from Tulane, Tajay Sharp. He's pretty good. Jamari Gibbs out of Alabama, the Alabama running back.
Yeah.
And you know what? And Bijan, Honey Bijan Mustard, Robinson out of Texas. He's apparently a unicorn. So there's that. If we do move, but the key is what's Daniel Jones getting? Because Daniel Jones did change representation. Yes, I think either today or yesterday, from CAA to Athletes First. And Athletes First, by the way, reps 4 of the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL. They rep them. They get them the money. But that's the key we must ask ourselves. Is Daniel Jones worth it? Personally, I think he's better than some people who are being paid $35 million. I think he's better than Kirk Cousins, personally. I think so.
I mean,
he beat him head to head.
I mean, he did.
In a big game.
Yeah, he did. But I mean,
in a big game. And he beat them in the playoffs. So point that out.
But consistently.
But that's the key, Caleb, right here. He never had an offensive line. He never had receivers. And his coaches were.
He didn't have anything to work with.
He literally had nothing.
Kirk Cousins has everything to work with.
Kirk Cousins has everything. He has legitimately everything.
That's
you know what
point.
I mean? Yeah. And too, Kirk Cousins, by the way, he never had to deal with Pat Shurmur and Joe Judge. I'm sorry, that never happened. I know you may not like Jay Gruden, you may not like the Shanahans, or you may not like Mike Zimmer or Kevin. They were better than Pat Shurmur and Joe Judge for Christ's sake. You know what I mean? That's all I gotta say. But we have not set this kid up to be successful. We saw some growth, we saw some improvement, but that's the problem right here. Is this going to be a constant trend of improvement and growth, or has Brian Daboll extracted everything he could get from Daniel Jones? That's the key. Is this going to be a good investment that we paid him $40 million when he was cheap? Now the market is broken because Joe Burrow has $50 million a year? Or we roll the dice and Joe Schoen says, you know what? We did this with Tyrod Taylor in Buffalo. We're moving on. People act like Joe Schoen was in Buffalo when they made the playoffs with Tyrod Taylor. And the very next year, Buffalo's like, we're moving on. We're picking Josh Allen. They trade up to 7 and draft Josh Allen. Daniel Jones isn't Joe Judge's quarterback. If he wants to move on, he can move on. This is where I think 2024 is a better class.
So a short deal then? 3-year deal?
He's not signing that. Either you say, you know what? Have a nice day. We're signing Mike Glennon to tank next year. Because if that does happen, you're also not signing Saquon Barkley. You're drafting a running back in the draft. You draft a running back. You have a rookie running back. You bolster the offensive line. You run the ball, but you don't win a lot of games next year. And you have a top 10 pick, and you draft one of the 5 quarterbacks coming out next year. You're especially looking at Drake May and Caleb Williams. Those are the 2. Is Joe Schoen willing to tell the New York Giants fan base, I know we made the playoffs. I know y'all were excited, but guess what? I'm blowing this up, and I'm starting over with my quarterback because homeboy wanted $40 million. That's the key. Does Joe Schoen have enough resolve?
I think you can honestly do that because, with the lack of talent that you guys had this year,
It was coaching. It was coaching that won us games. You know, Wink Martindale, Mike Kafka, Brian Dable outcoached certain coaches, and we won those games.
So
We have no talent.
If he didn't sign him, like, I mean, are you gonna regress that much? I mean, I don't know.
No, it's not regression. Is he gonna keep improving? The improvement. He improved last year, but is he gonna keep improving, or is this the cap?
Yeah, I'm saying if you didn't sign him and went with like somebody else and got someone else, is the team going to regress that much? Are they still going to be competitive? Just through.
There were times, I'm not gonna lie to you, there were times Daniel Jones did win us games last year. There are moments where he put the ball in his hands and he won us games. That's true. But the thing is this the cap? Are we capping? Is this the cap of the Giants? Or do you shred? You take the bedrock out, you start all over, you draft a running back, you draft some linemen in the draft, you draft defense, and then next year you're looking at those 5 quarterbacks. You know, DJ Uiagalelei, Caleb Williams, Drake May, Bo Nix. There's like a bunch of quarterbacks next year. Do you look at them and like, you know, I prefer them because this year it's 2 quarterbacks and Will Levis. It's Bryce and CJ and Will Levis. You know what I mean? And Bryce and CJ should not make it past 4. They shouldn't. I'm sorry, they shouldn't. And if they do make it past 4, those teams in the top 4 who need quarterbacks, they should all be banished from existence, personally. But you know, like Houston and Indianapolis, basically. But that's the key right there, Caleb. That's the key. That's the key. What do you want to do? This is where Joe Schoen makes his money. We already know Brian Daboll's worth the money because he was given shit and he made lemonade. You know, he had no depth. His defensive players were dropping left and right. Him and Wink Martindale, Mike Kafka were like, "Hey man, let's make something." By the way, speaking of coaches, we did lose our running backs coach. He's going to Indianapolis, so Brian Daboll now has to hire a proper running backs coach. So there is that as well. But yeah, that's the thing, man. We're just waiting on the when the league year starts. We're waiting on the cut day. We're waiting to restructure Leonard Williams' contract. We're waiting to cut Kenny Galladay. You know, I mean, we cut him after a certain day. It's a lesser cap hit on us. So it's just a waiting game. This is the waiting period of the NFL. Joe Schoen, you have a plan. Let me see you execute it and make me believe it. If I find out you talking out both ends of your stuff, we're screwed again. And then we gotta do this all over in 4 years when everybody gets fired. But this is where Joe Schoen makes his money. You gotta figure something out. Either you give the man the money, or you tell that dude, you know what, Daniel, I like you. You ain't worth $40 million. We're moving on. It's either or. Either or. You know, I saw some flashes of Daniel Jones. I was like, damn, where was this? And it did show up with Pat Shurmur, because Pat Shurmur, offensive-minded coach, helped him, but then it was completely crushed under Joe Judge, which was really the reason that the Joe Judge years is the reason people don't like Daniel Jones, because he played like garbage, because you're being coached by Joe Judge and Jason Garrett and Freddie Kitchens. Like, bro,
that's terrible.
Yeah, like, I'm sorry, like, no one's successful. Coaches do more to hurt than help quarterbacks and players in general. Coaches do more to ruin careers than to help careers. Yep, that's what I think. That's what I personally think. But yeah, that's pretty much really the Giants thing is, it's the contracts. It's those 2 contracts. Because if Daniel Jones walks, I think Saquon Barkley, they don't re-sign him, and they start all over.
I honestly don't think that's a bad plan, to be honest.
You know, and speaking in NFL circles and NFL logic, it's actually the proper plan. Don't sign the running back who's coming off a knee injury, $14 million. You don't do that. and you don't sign, and you don't try to overpay for a quarterback that only had one good year. This was a good year, but not a great year. It was a good year. But here's the thing: do you give Daniel Jones a couple of receivers and see what he does?
I mean, that's the thing. I
Yeah,
mean, how good he can be with some real talent.
exactly. When your number one receiver is Richie James, like what can
Give
you
him
do?
the Kirk Cousins talent and see what he
Yeah, like
does.
give him Justin Jefferson, give him T.J. Hawkinson, give him Dalvin Cook, and
Thielen.
what happens? What happens? You know what I mean? We don't. That's the thing, man. People talk about, man. When you look at Daniel Jones and you look at his career in New York, the best receiver he had was Sterling Shepard, and Sterling Shepard has torn his Achilles, torn his ACL. He's not coming back. Darius Slayton's had drop issues. Who's been a weapon for him? Nothing. Like look at Trevor Lawrence's weapons in
I mean, you guys
Jacksonville.
kind of wasted Evan Ingram, but Jaguars.
Let's not talk,
sure.
please. Can we not talk about it, please? Jason Garrett is the reason that happened to Evan Ingram. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about Evan Ingram, please.
I don't know about that. I don't know if it's Jason Garrett. I mean,
let's not talk. I don't want to talk about Evan Ingram, Caleb. How about we not talk about Evan Ingram? All right, shut up. God, asshole. Where can people find you, man?
You can find me at NFL Caleb 22 on Instagram and Twitter. You can find me on this channel. Eventually doing betting the NFL back for the new season in the summer. And then all my articles I've done in the past are still on our website at letsgetreadynetwork.com.
All right. Guys, I'm Ferris Muthana. You can find me at Ferris Muthana on Twitter. Like I said, guys, make sure to like and subscribe the channel. Turn on that notification bell to get all the notifications of us going live or dropping a video. We usually drop videos at 3 o'clock on this channel. So there's that. As well as shout out to all our patrons. To all our patrons, we appreciate your support and we appreciate everything you guys keep the lights on here. Let's keep the lights on here and we really deeply appreciate it. But on that note, everyone, you guys have a wonderful day. Stay safe. Enjoy some XFL next weekend.
XFL.
Because we will be talking about a little bit more about the XFL. But have a wonderful night, everyone. Stay safe.